What if I were to tell you that one manga writer ruined millions of people's lives on a weekly basis? Let me explain. Many of you are probably familiar with the global sensation known as Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is a popular manga that was written by the world-renowned mangaka known as Gege Akutami. As of recording this video on September 30th, Jujutsu Kaisen has finally reached its conclusion. Now you're probably wondering, what could a manga writer even do that's that bad to ruin the lives of so many people? Was he bombing nations, world domination, eating pineapple pizza? No, he wrote Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, for the people that aren't really familiar with manga, you're probably thinking that it doesn't sound too bad. All he's doing is just writing a story. It doesn't sound bad in the grand scheme of things, but do not let this one-eyed cat fool you. He's been constantly draining millions of people's mental health every week with each new chapter release, and now that JJK has finally concluded, it's about time that someone exposes the dark secrets of Gege Akutami and his crimes against humanity with this manga. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love Jujutsu Kaisen, easily my favorite new generation of anime out of the bunch by a country mile. Even though JJK made my blood pressure spike through the roof and made my depression skyrocket like never before, reading this manga week in and week out was still a fun experience to say the least, and today I thought, why not talk about the flawed masterpiece that is Jujutsu Kaisen. But don't worry though, I know there's anime watchers only, so I got you. This is how I'll organize the video. I'll talk about the anime adaptation first, then the manga portion, and lastly themes, characters, and my overall thoughts. I'll put timestamps on the screen as well. So enough with the yapping, and let's talk about the modern classic, Jujutsu Kaisen. Looking at the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen, it's honestly a breath of fresh air in comparison to the typical shonen as of late. If you look at characters such as Deku or Asta, they're always striving for this goal to be number one in their respected series, which isn't a bad thing to say the least. If anything, it helps give the viewers an idea of the main character's ambitions and motivations and uses plot as a navigation to get to their goal. But Jujutsu Kaisen is different. Yuji doesn't have a huge motive to accomplish some big goal. He's simplistic, a realist, and that's okay. His only desire is to fulfill his grandfather's wishes of helping others and surrounding himself with loved ones before his time comes. As much as I love the wanting to be the best trope in anime, it's nice to see a protagonist have goals that are humanistic and relate significantly to most viewers like myself. Overall, Season 1 was a nice teaser for what was yet to come. Cool power system, sick weapons, evil villains, interesting characters. I knew I was in for a show. Some of the early arcs like the versus Mahito arc and the Goodwill event, they were cute. Nothing crazy. A little bit of suspense, some fast action moving sequences. I was a little interested, but I needed more. I was like, okay, this is nice, but when do we really get into it? Then Season 2 came and I wish I didn't say anything because I was not prepared. Now, the start of Season 2 was a nice flashback story that gave perspective on Suguru Geto and our superstar Satoru Gojo, giving context into how Gojo became the character he is today. Perspective is important, and Gege making a backstory on how Gojo became the best was clever writing in hindsight. Also, we get the introduction to easily the coolest character in Jujutsu Kaisen. Toji is so cold, man. He's basically Batman but with no powers. My boy is broke. Pockets looking like the Great Depression. Inflation even got fictional characters cooked? It's so over. But what made Toji such a great character in the series was the way he made the strongest character in Jujutsu Kaisen take a knee. A mortal who took down a god. In fact, I got the best JJK YouTuber to break down Toji's coolest feat. Everyone give it up for my boy 100, man.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, our man Satoru Gojo is always touting himself as the strongest every chance he gets. But once upon a time, he did lose that title for a couple of hours. We go all the way back to the hidden inventory arc, to the moment where Toji puts a blade through Gojo's chest without him even realizing it. And at this moment, Gojo and Geto are on go. They land some mean combo that does nothing to the man. And at that point, if I was Gojo, I would have been having second thoughts about fighting this man. Because when you think about it, exploring the 7 wonders of the world is actually easier than hitting Gojo. So you already know that Toji had a devious plan cooked up. Gojo tells his team to leave and get the hostage to the safe point. And as Gojo turns back to Toji to talk his smack, Toji lets Gojo know that he got finessed into exhausting himself for the past couple of days, and now he's gonna finish the light work. Gojo, with all that pride he's got as the strongest, was obviously gonna get tight with this, so he shoots a blue off rip. And we see Toji dodge and just start speeding through the forest. I mean, Mappa had the man looking like the first 30 seconds of Sonic Unleashed. And even Gojo with the eye second see all couldn't see a single thing here. And Toji goes in for the attack, but Gojo actually lands a blue on Toji, and Toji's got the meanest grin on his face. Look bro, if I only have one attack in my arsenal and my opponent takes it directly with that anime smirk on his face, I'd really just leave at that point. Toji got sent flying into a building, but bro just jumps back up and starts bopping Gojo again. And this makes Gojo say, you know what, I just gotta nuke the whole area so he can't hide behind anything anymore. And that's exactly what he does. Gojo wipes out everything, and look man, Toji might have a little bit of Clark Kent in him, but there's some Bruce Wayne too. Toji was ready for something like this, and had prepared mad miniature cursed spirits so he could use them as a smokescreen. And what this man Toji does is genius. He prepares his blade for the killing blow, and waits for Gojo to believe that he had gone to finish off the hostage while distracting Gojo with the smokescreen. So the moment that Gojo was manipulated into believing this, he turns around and leaves himself open for Toji to clean up shop. He hits Gojo with the cleanest yet brutal combo and hits an even more clean pose.
You win! Perfect!
Letting us all know that it's been a while since he's done that. And with that, Toji finessed Gojo in his title with ease.
Hey, y'all give it up for my boy 100, man. Ain't he the best? Go sub to this channel. But after this video's done. I'm sorry, I need the ad revenue, man. I'm sorry, King. Anyway, I think what made Toji interesting is the fact that he was the reason why the story would change forever just because of one decision to take a bounty, but way more on that later. After Toji puts Gojo down, Gojo hits the meanest get back in recent history against Toji with a purple. Gojo made drilling a hole into a person's esophagus look so majestic.
Hey yo!
With that part of the arc over, we finally reach the Shibuya Incident, and this is where everything gets ramped up by 100-fold. After this arc, JJK would never be the same from this arc moving forward. On first read, I was hyped. On my 100th read, still hyped. Things were going down from start to finish in this part of the series, and when I found out this arc was going to air this year, I knew they were going to do the manga justice, and oh boy, they did. Everything about this season was pure cinematics, from the way the plot progressed to the art style, the fight scenes, the dramatic sequences, everything. First off, the anime intro was... A lot of characters were cooking in this arc as well. Nanami beat the ever-living brakes off of Shigemo, and this scene made so many girls absolutely lose it. And quick side note, women oftentimes say that men are typically perverted, but if you look at how these women reacted to Nanami and saw the cosplay at anime expos, you guys are just as problematic as us. Y'all are not slick. Don't even try to deny it. We got the tape. We caught you in 4K. Anyway, everyone was boxing as per usual. Gojo was unmatched as always. His aura alone made Hanami disintegrate into literal nothingness, while Gojo was pulling on Jogo's arm a little too weird. Megumi and Yuji were giving Awasaka the Jujutsu Kaisen jump treatment that we all know so well. Can't forget Nobara with the assist, man. She was cold too. Give my girl some credit. But as soon as Gojo got sealed up, the fights went from amazing to generational in almost an instant. Listen, I love when the weaker characters in the series have to step up against foes that are out of their league. It forces them to create and push past limits once holding them back. Gege removing Gojo from the series at this point was genius, and as a result increased the stakes of the story that much higher. But what brought even more excitement was easily this moment here. Toji's return was crazy. He didn't even say much. The first thing that he did was pack up Ino and charge headfirst into a domain expansion. And look how clean this entrance was! Oh. As soon as Toji landed and took the playful cloud from Maki and took those 3 steps, I knew it was over. I almost felt bad for Dogon because no attack was working on him. Bro was moving so smooth on that water, I thought I was looking at Michael Jackson in his prime. Even when Dogon tried to escape, Naobito said, "Aw, hell nah," and made sure Toji annihilated him. Turning Dogon into a sushi roll, that's tough. What happened to running fair 1v1s, man? What happened to the game that I loved? Psych! This is JJK that we talking about. Ain't no fair 1v1s. After Toji finishes deep frying Dogon into oblivion, he then starts fighting with Megumi and does some little father and son bonding. Look at how much Toji loves his son. Easily deserves Father of the Year. But real quick though, as much as I love Toji, this fight did not go down like this in the manga. Like, at all. I know in this video I was glazing Toji a lot, but bro, this fight was like 4 pages long. All Toji did was try to stab Megumi once. Bruh, in the anime they got Toji out here throwing trucks, fire hydrants, and beating on little rabbits. What is going on? The way the anime portrayed this to be, you would have thought that Toji was an African father that got a hold on his son's report card and found a B+ on it the way he was crashing out on him. I also really enjoy the terrorism that Sukuna displayed in Shibuya, capturing the true essence of what a villain should be. He made light work of Jogo, which in retrospect, I actually feel kind of bad for him because he had to fight 2 of the strongest people in the verse on 3 occasions, which is super unfortunate. Sukuna also fighting Mahoraga was the icing on the cake, showing glimpses of just how cynical this individual will be in the future. And when he opened his domain, peak cinema. Anime only watchers, this is just the beginning of what Sukuna is capable of. If you think he's evil now, I promise you, this is just the beginning. Most people probably enjoyed Yuji and Todo teaming up again to fight Mahito and seeing Yuji land a mean black flash on him, especially when Yuji hovered over him after and uttered, "I'm you." Yuji was cold in getting revenge for Nobara and Nanami. But as much as I love that fight, I think my favorite fight from that entire arc was Yuji versus Choso. In my opinion, the animators went all out in terms of animation and creativity. As soon as Yuji ran into Choso, it was on sight. The animators adapted this perfectly and got these two to swap hands like there's no tomorrow. Oh, and when they took the fight to the bathroom,
Oh boy! Yes!
absolutely sensational. This is how shonen fights are supposed to look, man. Take notes, My Hero in Black Clover. But overall, I really enjoyed the Shibuya Incident and Season 2 as a whole. Easily a 10 out of 10 in my books. Okay, anime only watchers, this is your cue to skip to the timestamp or leave the video so you don't get spoiled by the manga. Did you leave? If not, you can't blame me. Also, I would avoid the comment section. Now manga readers, it's time to get into this roller coaster of just depressing manga. Towards the end of the Shibuya Incident, a new foe, Naiwa Zeni, pulls up and tries to fight Yuji and Choso, but I'm gonna be honest, this dude is a bum. Look at him, thinking he's cold. Hell no. Even Gege calls him a bum. He talks the most game just to end up losing time and time again. If you think I'm exaggerating too, you'll see why I don't like him later on. But then, the GOAT, the real MC of JJK, pulls up to the scene, Yuta Akotsu. Now, I am biased, especially since I made a video about him in the past, but come on, his aura was so cold, the first thing Yuji thought that it had to be Gojo. Quit playing with my boy. And look, I need you guys to peep this real quick. Let me show you how much of a bum Naiwa is. As soon as he saw Yuta, he said, "Hey man, I don't want no smoke. I'm on your team, Yuta. You're my GOAT. I love you, senpai." Psh, get this man out of here. He's a bum. Yuji and Choso run the twos against Naiwa and Yuta, and look at how Yuta is leaping towards Yuji. Brother, it's not that serious. You're on the same team. Long story short, Yuta ends up killing Yuji like he promised, and Choso ends up beating the useless bum. But it was interesting to see how Yuta fulfilled his binding vow by killing him and then giving him a revive to protect him. That's my GOAT. Y'all are gonna call me a Naiwa hater the way I'm calling him a bum in this video, but I promise you, he is. Cause fast forward only 10 chapters later, after Maki cooks the Zenin clan, the bum loses again to Maki. This dude sucks. There's a bit more to talk about in the perfect preparation arc, but I don't want this video to go on for so long, so I'm just gonna skip to the climax of JJK, the Culling Games. As unpredictable and depressing this arc got, let me first start by saying I love the Culling Games. Even though Gege played with literally millions of people's mental health week in and week out during this arc, I must admit Gege had a masterclass writing this part of the series. Everyone popped out from the start. Megumi cooked with the 4v1, Yuji went to court and beat the Sukuna allegations, hashtag free Yuji, and Maki ends up beating this sorry ass bum Naiwa again. I'm telling you, he's so trash. We also get introduced to cool characters like Ryu, Hakari, Higuruma, and Uro. With Gojo still being sealed at this point, everyone was forced to lock in, and I loved it. I'm pretty sure I said this earlier in the video, but exploring everyone's powers and limits when the OP character isn't present is always one of my favorite tropes in anime. The GOAT, Yuta, did his thing against the strongest in the games too. Ate a bug, killed some hippie, cooking Uro and Ryu at the same time. Like, come on, man.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
The boy Hakari also did his thing against Bum Shimo, I mean Kashimo, but honestly, bro's a bum too. This was good though. The heroes were winning and getting all the points for the Culling Games. All they had to do was unseal Gojo and everything was over. But y'all forgot one thing. Y'all forgot about who Gege was. As soon as Gege sensed the story even going a tiny bit in a positive direction, he really said,
I thrive off negativity. Anything negative, I'm for it.
Kenjaku ends up killing Yuki and frying Choso in order to get Tengen. After that, we get hit with the big plot twist that no one was prepared for. Megumi's sister ends up being taken over by Yorozu and shocks everybody. Then even a bigger plot twist happens literally 2 panels later when Sukuna yells "Enchain" and starts to wreak havoc. He puts the angel to sleep and then makes Megumi eat his finger. At first I was like, ew! Then I scrolled to the next panel to see Sukuna in Megumi's body. What? This was easily the best plot twist we've seen in New Gen manga. And you know what? It low-key makes sense. Megumi and Megumi fans, I say this with the deepest of respects. Megumi sucks.
That's right, I said it.
He always had the potential to be the coldest and the strongest in the cast outside of Gojo and maybe Yuta, but just couldn't do it. I had zero idea why this dude Sukuna had so much interest and potential, man, until this chapter. He saw that Megumi was so garbage with his powers, but had an arsenal of a demigod. Sukuna couldn't let it go to waste and had to interject and cook with Megumi's own powers. That's how much of a bum Megumi is. And you know what? Come to think of it, there's a lot of bums in the story. Fast forward past the Culling Games, Gojo gets unsealed, Sukuna reaches his full powers, and the Shinjuku Showdown begins. Real quick, does anyone else find it hilarious that the first thing Gojo does after getting unsealed was punch the daylights out of the chef glazing losers? I'm sorry, I had to include that in the video. But alas, we reached the final arc of Jujutsu Kaisen and we kick off the fight of the decade between Gojo and Sukuna. If you've been keeping up with this manga week in and week out on Twitter, you pulled up to the spoilers tab hoping that either Gojo or Sukuna was going to win that part of the fight that week. Gege Akutami had millions of people going to war over 2 fictional characters. That's how serious it got. If one party performed badly, they were getting clowned on for the rest of the week until the next chapter was released. Some of these edits were ruthless. Man, the timeline was on fire every single week, and honestly, the experience was generational. Personally, I was on Team Gojo, and you know, but I will say this, I don't care what you Satan supporting Sukuna fans say, Sukuna was jumping Gojo, man. Sukuna even said it was a 3v1, so I don't want to hear y'all. If it was just Gojo versus Sukuna, man, the story would be different. It was Gojo versus Sukuna, Maharaga, Agito, Gege Akutami, the plot, and my boy Gojo was still boxing. Gojo had that dog. He even had Sukuna on 1 HP critical damage. He was finished. It was GG's, and I thought the manga was finally over. Then the next chapter released, and on the first page I see Gojo on a first class ticket to see Michael Jackson in the front row with Juice WRLD beside him. What? I couldn't believe my eyes. Because if my eyes didn't deceive me, last chapter I read that Gojo won. Then all of a sudden I see him at an airport. What's going on? I thought that this had to be some sort of error, a mistake, or a dream that Gojo was having, but the more I read, the more I knew the worst happened. Gege put my boy down, and this is where my mental health was cooked. Dog, not only did Gojo lose, but it was off screen? When this chapter dropped, the entire fan base entered peak levels of depression and cope. People were making RIP posts and dedications to Gojo. Others became full-blown conspiracy theorists about Gojo coming back. It's me, I'm others. But no, Gojo truly died, and Sukuna fans were frying me for weeks on the timeline. It was a rough few months. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Sukuna begins to run the meanest gauntlet in recent times. The things that this man was doing was nuts. It was so bad, all I can say is, one of Satan's greatest soldiers was Ryomen Sukuna. First, he kills Kashimo, but who cares? Then he proceeds to put every sorcerer on a t-shirt. Ino, Higuruma, Choso, Kusakabe, everyone. Yuta got cut up like a sushi roll in real time. Maki was getting cooked with black flashes. It was getting bad. Gege was going through these characters faster than Sonic on a Thursday afternoon. Gege was gonna mess around and make you fight Sukuna. That's how bad it got. Reading this manga weekly was demoralizing because you knew every week this dude was going to kill someone you might like. This manga had me praying to God that my favorite characters somehow survived. That's how bad it got. Eventually, Yuji got the job done and finally defeated the evil Ryomen Sukuna. Thank God. I have a lot more to say about this arc, such as letdowns of certain characters like Hana, Megami, Kashimo, useless bums, or the underutilization of the fight between Urume and Hakari, because seriously, what were they doing? For all we know, they were probably just But before the video ends, I did want to give my opinions on the ending of the manga. Did I love it, or is this the worst ending to a series I've ever seen? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the ending was that bad. Is it flawed? Absolutely. There are things that are left unexplained, rushed, or not thoroughly explored. Gege is kind of notorious for leaving things ambiguous for the audience to explore, but now that the series has come to a conclusion, this has come to kind of bite him in the ass. For example, we don't really know what Yuji's domain expansion is, or who in the world is Usami, or how in the world is this man's brain not fried to atoms. I'm pretty sure Megami took 5 unlimited voids to the dome just to walk it off. How? Even though the ending isn't perfect and was rushed, by no means was it bad. It was great to see the main cast back together and holding on to values that Gojo bestowed upon the cast, specifically Yuji. Also, the letters that Gojo wrote to his students before fighting Sukuna and ultimately dying are kind of heartwarming and really brings Gojo's character to a satisfying conclusion. You can tell that Gojo sees a lot of potential, specifically in Yuji, and tries his best to instill his philosophy into him, and it's quite touching. Again, was the ending perfect? No, but it did just enough to cross over the finish line. Also, Gege was sick during the climax of chapter 262, I believe. It kind of felt as a reader as if Gege had no choice but to rush the ending, which, if I'm right, it's kind of sad because he was forced to end the series. But as a whole, Jujutsu Kaisen was a great series, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in this type of shonen. It's currently the most popular manga in the world, and honestly, it's easily a modern classic that smashes its competition out of the park. When we look back to this era of anime, I wouldn't be surprised if people consider Jujutsu Kaisen to be the best out of the bunch. A lot of great themes and plot lines that make the story addicting to read. Even though Gege made my blood rise every week and made millions of people's mental health suffer, all is forgiven because in return, we got a pretty cool story. Before the video ends, I'd like to give a big thank you to my friend 100 for the collaboration on this video with me. We were supposed to collaborate earlier, but things got in the way and I was busy. I'm lying. I was lazy and procrastinated, but please go show him love, Kings. Speaking of which, Kings, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and join the Kings on this side of the internet. Also, leave your thoughts about Jujutsu Kaisen in the comment section below. If you're an anime only watcher, do not read the comment section. Anyway, with all that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and until we meet again, have a wonderful day, keep it 100, and I'll catch you next time.